Hello! In this video, we're going to talk about question tags and stranded prepositions while we talk about a board game. Are you ready? Before we do that, I have this activity for you. It involves research. Research the names of the chess pieces. Here's a picture of the chess pieces. So the idea is that you know how to name these pieces in English. They may be different from the names in your own language. Okay? Once you do that, I want you to find out how they can move. Okay? Because that's the next part of the activity. Find out how they can move and then write the name of the pieces that can move as indicated in this diagram. So here it is. So I want you to pause the video, research the names, and see how they can move so that you can complete this activity before we move on. All right? Go ahead, pause the video, complete the activity. Okay, I hope that you did pause the video and completed the activity. I have the answers here for you, just these numbers. Okay? This is 1. This is the piece that goes here. And number 4, this, the knight. All right? Good. Now let's move on to the next activity. Read the following conversation about chess. Right, you're ready to talk about chess because you did some research and you know what they are talking about. This is a conversation between Carlos and his mom. It says, "You're going to start from the very basics, aren't you?" And the mom says, "Sure. The pieces you play with are either white or black." Oh, what she's doing is she's teaching him how to move the pieces or how to play chess. Okay, Carlos says, "I can choose either." So it means the black or the white pieces. "Can't I?" And she says, "Sure. If you choose the white ones, you move first." "Where can I move this piece to?" And she says, "That's the pawn." All right, because you know the names of the pieces. That's the pawn. The first time it moves, it can move 1 or 2 empty squares to the front. Okay, 1 or 2 empty squares to the front. After that, it can move or it can advance a single square directly forward to advance or diagonally forward to capture another piece, so in either direction. "That's not very complicated, is it?" And he responds, "What are you talking about? That's already too much information." Poor Carlos. Well, that's the way chess works. Once you know how to move all the pieces, you're going to have a lot of fun, and they say it helps you become more intelligent, they say. Okay. But I have some simple questions for you, just to make sure that you understood the conversation. Who has more experience playing chess? Who does? The mom, of course. How many pieces do they talk about? How many? Just 1, the pawn. What does Carlos think about chess? It doesn't say specifically what he thinks, but from his last answer, he says that it's a lot of information, so he may think that it is a bit too complicated. All right, but I'm going to use that conversation that they had to tell you something about question tags. What are question tags? Question tags are questions that we add to a statement just to confirm that what we said is right. For example, as you can hear, Carlos says, "You're going to start from the very basics." That's his assumption. And he says, "Aren't you?" That is to confirm that his assumption is right. For that, he used a question tag. The question tag is "aren't you?" How did he construct that question? The sentence is about you, as you can see here. You are going to start. So the question is asked to you. If we are asking a question about you, and you know that all sentences have an auxiliary, the auxiliary that we use for the question should be the same auxiliary in the sentence that we just mentioned. So the auxiliary in the sentence is you are going to. The auxiliary is be, so we're using the same auxiliary, are. And one last thing, if the statement is affirmative, like you are going to start, the question will include a negation, aren't you? I know that's a lot of information, like when we were talking about chess, but three things. The subject, it's the same of the sentence. The auxiliary, the same of the sentence. And if the statement is affirmative, the question will include a negation. If not, it is going to be affirmative. Let me show you some other examples. First, let's see one that they already included there. I can choose either. That is affirmative. So, can't I? All right, the auxiliary is can. The question is towards I because I is the subject of the basic statement. Next, that's not very complicated. That's a negation. So the question tag is affirmative. Is it? All right. You live with your parents. So in this case, this example includes the present simple, and we don't have an auxiliary there that is visible, but in the present simple, the auxiliary is always do if it is not the verb be. So you live with your parents, don't you? You won't go swimming. So that is future, it's negation, so that's why we use will you. All right, that's the way question tags work. And in the conversation, we had some other thing that I would like to show you, and it's called stranded prepositions. Stranded prepositions are prepositions that could go at the beginning of the sentence, but for ease, we place them at the end of the sentence. For example, she said, the pieces you play with are either white or black. The pieces that you play with. You could say the pieces with which you play, but it is too complicated to say the pieces with which you play. It's easier just to say the pieces you play with are either white or black, or they can appear at the end of questions. For example, where can I move this piece to? I could say, to what position can I move this piece? But it is just too complicated. It changes the basic order of the questions, because remember that all questions start with a question word or phrase or an auxiliary, and in that case, if we put a preposition at the beginning, like to where can I move this piece, that would be changing the normal structure of questions, so it's easier just to place the preposition at the end, stranded. Where can I move this piece to? Or what he says at the end, what are you talking about? He could have said, about what are you talking? But we're using the stranded preposition here. Or final example with another preposition, who are you doing this for? We could say, for whom are you doing this? But it's easier just to say, who are you doing this for? All right? That is a resource that we have in English to make it simpler. All right? So, having said that, I have some short practice activity for you. It says, write 5 sentences about chess or your favorite board game, and you are going to use stranded prepositions and question tags. Are you ready for that? So, just any 5 sentences about a game that you like. If you want to do it about chess, that would be great. Any board game that you want to use, that will be fine. So, pause the video, complete the activity, and I'll see you in a moment. All right, I hope that you completed the activity. Let me just show you some sample answers. All right? Chess has many rules, doesn't it? All right, good. That is a good question tag. Number 2, you must carefully think about every possible move. Mustn't you? The auxiliary is must, so that's why we have mustn't at the end. The queen chess piece is the most versatile and most important piece, isn't it? Okay, the queen, we're talking about the queen, that's why we say it. Okay, isn't it? Number 4, any chess piece can capture an enemy piece that is in a space where it can move to. Wow, that's a good sentence. It can move to, all right, a space where it can move to which it can move. Good. Next, to defeat your opponent, you need to guess what his plan is. That is, chess is a game of strategy. That's why we need to think about the plan of the opponent to be able to defeat that opponent. Good. So your sentences may not necessarily be the same, but these are just examples of how we can use question tags and stranded prepositions in our sentences. All right. I am going to pause my video now so that you can listen to the pronunciation of these sentences, and please practice your pronunciation. I'm pausing my video now.
Chess has many rules, doesn't it? You must think carefully about every possible move, mustn't you? The queen chess piece is the most versatile and most important piece, isn't it? Any chess piece can capture an enemy piece that is in a space where it can move to. To defeat your opponent, you need to guess what his plan is.
All right. I hope that you did practice your pronunciation, and remember that question tags help us reaffirm what we thought and expressed in a special statement at the beginning of the sentence, and then we just ask a question just to confirm that what we said is right, and that we can always use stranded prepositions to facilitate maintaining the same structure of sentences in English. All right? Thank you for your attention, and I'll see you next time.